recaps on my watch list today. I traded four different tickers. I traded Oxy, Apple, NVDA, and AMD. AMD wasn't on my watch list. I had it originally, but I had substituted for Apple since I usually trade Apple a little bit better. But sometimes I get a little bit of a better read on it. But today was not that kind of day. Um, let's go over my trades in chronological order. So I took NVIDIA first to start the day. What I saw on it is that we had this high volume doji here, kind of bouncing off of S4, and then we were starting to pop up with a gap up in pre-market, and we seemed to like stall right here at R4. We didn't really have any like big candles that were indicating we were wicking off of R4. We might go short, so I was kind of concerned that we might go long, which we sort of did after this massive chop. But I did like how we were in the moment opening at the R4 range and we were stalling there. So I wanted to take a short here off of R4 once we kind of wicked it, or the area beneath it, and then I took a position right when we lost VWEB with some selling on the tape. But then came back up, squeezed back up, and ended up squeezing me out for a 1.1 hour loss, which is fine. Um, Maybe the long bias based off of the 60-minute chart would have been a little bit better, but the cam structure didn't indicate that we were likely to go long today. But I really should have paid attention a little bit more to the bigger time frame. That would have probably saved me from a loss here. But the actual open was pretty much choppy. I wouldn't have been able to take a trade on this at all. I wouldn't have found an entry anywhere in here, so it's not like I would have caught anything anyways. So my second trade after that was Oxy. Oxy was a really nice analysis today. I've been trading it the past couple days. It's been trading really nicely. We had this double top on the daily, and we had kind of gapped down in pre-market quite a bit. We sold off all the way to R4. And what I noticed here is that we were starting to find a bottom in pre-market at S4, which is either a extreme breakout or extreme reversal area, as the way Thor teaches it. And I noticed that our cams were wide, and I believe they were wide and bearish. Did I write that down in my notes? Yeah, wide and bearish. So they were wide, as you can see from this, and we wasn't necessarily expecting a breakout unless we had lost it with conviction and kind of retested from the bottom. But in that case, that didn't happen, and we kind of bounced off with some volume in the pre-market. And I was kind of waiting for a signal to enter and go long on this thing, at the open. So we kind of sold off in the first minute below VWAP, so I was still waiting. And then something interesting happened right around the time that I was watching it, when we sort of bounced right off of the $51 level at 51.03, and then we just shot straight up. So I went long. I tried to go long right here. And I went long here, but for some reason when I clicked and I pressed my hotkey, it didn't fill me. So I tried it again. By the time I entered, it had popped all the way up here, and I ended up with a really big $1 stop. In which case it had killed my risk to reward ratio. I had considered exiting on it, but instead what I decided to do was stay in the position and wait for an area to double up on my position so that I can get a better R to R ratio. So in the second minute candle after that big initial pop, I liked how we were kind of holding this daily level here. So we had kind of we started up here, we popped up, we came all the way back down, and then we squeezed up. So as soon as I saw that, I added to my position, set my new stop here, and then my target was just going to be 54.45, which is previous 2 pennies below previous day close. I noticed that on the L2 in pre-market, we had a big order at 54.61, and it kind of disappeared at the open, but I figured that we might still have price gravitate towards that area, especially since we were going long. But my management on this, I liked it in particular because what I noticed is that our volume, like after this candle here, had sort of to die off. So I wasn't really 100% confident that we were going to make it all the way to 54.55. 54.45. So what I did was I watched it as we were coming here. We had such low volume, and every time something came in on the tape, whether it was long orders at the ask or short orders at the bid, price wasn't really moving until price started to lose 54 because we were holding the support. Once we lost 54, I decided that it was just time to bail on it, and I took my profit for a 3R move there, which was relatively nice. And now we're starting to get a real nice move on it now, which is unfortunate because I could have still been in the trade, but that's fine. My third trade was on Apple. I took this trade at around the same time that I was in my trade on Oxy. I noticed that we had this. We were selling off. We sold off through R4. We kind of rejected it right here, and then we came back, pushed up on low volume and formed this doji. It wasn't really on great volume, so I wish it was on more volume. I honestly shouldn't have been in this trade because of that reason. But I took the short here, set my stop here, right above this candle, and I looked for a 3-to-1 move, but I miscalculated really badly. For some reason, I didn't even think about it. I must have messed up my calculations when I was adding or subtracting, my stop from my entry to calculate my 3-to-1, and I ended up getting to 154.46, which was, I don't know how that happened. I messed that up brutally. But anyways, it turned out to be the perfect exit because I caught the bottom and I made a 1.2R on it. It was a bit of a wash trade, not my best trade of the day, but that's fine. And my final trade was on AMD. I took a short on AMD when we were popping up with the Qs into this pre-market level, and the Q started to lose. I started to wick off a pre-market high, and AMD started to lose it with some sell orders coming in and some volume here. So I took a short position here, set my stop above this level, and I was targeting a little bit below pre-market low. Well, I want to say went around 106.64 was going to be my 3R with this move. But then what happened was is that as we were coming down here, we had a lot of orders coming on the larger tape above the ask that squeezed the price up, and volume was relatively light. But I just didn't like the way that happened so quickly, and it just seemed like the AMD was following cues. So as soon as it came back up to break even, I took myself out of the position for a break even trade. So overall, NVIDIA was a 1.1R loss, Apple was a 1.2R win, and my trade on Oxy ended up being a 2.9R, almost a 3R trade. So total overall end of the day, just at 3R, and I'm going to leave it at that because I don't think I'm going to trade anything else. Nothing else seems too interesting. Everything was very, very choppy today. And maybe the only thing that I would want to be in still was Oxy to see if I can get that move that I initially wanted. But it's fine. I'm gonna cut it here and call it a day, and we'll see how tomorrow goes. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any comments.